Who wants to go first? Yes. And talk really loud so everybody can hear.
The use of the word broker, it was by two different speakers, both Korean, and I wish to know exactly what that word, how those people interact between South and North Korea.
This person, me answered, right? Yeah. Okay. The North Korea started starvation to die is 1994 started, and then 1997 start in China. The Korean Chinese people, they start to help the defector, and then between the help the defector and South Korea, they found out the way they can make this job. So like example, South Korean pastors or American pastors give them the money and say, please, when you see the North Korean defector, help them. That was started. And then they start to find out this can make money. So first they contact with the pastor. And second one is they start to find out in the countryside in China, a lot of men needed to marry. So they sold the woman. So the broker's job is a lot. But not every broker is bad. Some broker is very nice. They're very good for the North Korean defector. But this is the two kind of job. And another job is, like me, if I have parents in North Korea, I have to know their safety or not. So I try to contact with them, but I don't have any way can contact with them. So the Chinese Koreans, they can allow you to going to Korea by passport. So when they go there, they will use money to find someone and send it to them to the North Korean defector's house, and then bring the parents to come to the border and can talk with the children each other on the phone. So they doing this kind of job too. And then another brokers is like a Christians. They come to China for a few years. They live in China, and they met the pastors, and the pastors started teaching them a lot for the Bible and what is the love, what you can do for your people. So when they go back, they don't come back to the China. They just stay there and they're working with the pastors. So the pastors send the money and food to them, support their whole family, and they use this one to share with their families and friends. So this kind of job, we call them to broker too. So it's many different, yeah.
Okay. Next. Xiaomei.
I was just wondering, a lot of issues, this is for anybody question. Coming from China and studying China, a lot of things that have been talked about, lack of human rights, political imprisonment, lack of freedom, all that, is also happening in China. How come China somehow is kind of the more friendly part, whereas North Korea, which actually shares exactly the same system, is this extreme example of whatever. And that's question number one. Question number two is, how is this image of North Korea that is being presented here today different or going beyond our conventional understanding of North Korea as extreme enemy of all of us? Are we continuing this kind of conventional view of North Korea that is unique, extreme, very dangerous place, or are we presenting something that is a little bit going beyond our conventional impression of this country or understanding of this country?
你是中国人吗？那你用中文简单的说一下可以吗？我没听明白。
Just use one question though, because there are a lot of people here with a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Choose one.
Well, the first one seems made for the diplomats, I think. The second one, I mean, what is the conventional perception of North Korea? Like when I first started researching my book, I felt like the depictions I saw in the Western world that I was exposed to were of North Koreans as either evil, crazy, or clownish, or some mix of those. And I feel like because, you know, most people are never going to meet a North Korean, there's some weird free pass on representing them poorly? Like, we would never make a joke about a Rwandan or a Syrian in some way, but I think people do feel free to make a crazy puppet movie about North Korea because they're probably not going to have to answer for that in some way. But it's my sense that over the last 10 years, people have started to really wonder about the humanity of North Koreans. And in my sense, the big turning point was the death of Kim Jong-il. And people asked me 100 times at his funeral that was broadcast on TV, were those people really crying or were they faking it? Which I think was a big empathetic question about what is it like to live there. And I just kind of feel like there was a shift in America wondering, like, what is the human experience there? I don't know if that answers your question, but I think it's evolving.
Thank you. David, you had a question.
Yes, this is mainly for the diplomats, but of course anybody... Can you hear me up there? I'm pretty loud. But feel free, anybody, to answer this question. But I'm mainly familiar with the situation in Japan because I'm a specialist of Japanese culture. And there is debate in Japan over how best to deal with North Korea. And there are people on the left in Japan, and I believe this is the case in South Korea as well, who see the presence of large numbers of US troops in South Korea and in Japan as a provocation, basically, to the North Koreans. And I was wondering if you could respond to that point of view, which I'm not saying it's my own, it's just there is a debate as to how best to deal with North Korea in both Japan and South Korea.
So the presence of USFK, 28,500 USFK in Korea, provocation to North Korea, or a security threat to North Korea? Actually, I'd like to answer it this way. Why those young Americans started stationing in Korea? It's not because we wanted to provoke North Korea or threaten North Koreans regime. Rather, we were compelled to do so, to have 28,500 young Americans staying in the Korean Peninsula to maintain peace and security. By nature, our alliance is by nature defensive one, not offensive one. We have not threatened anybody. And it was historically proven that the 66 years ago, as I told you, since North Korea attacked South Korea with huge military forces, the Korean War started, then United States came to rescue the fledgling Republic of Korea. And since then, to maintain peace and security, we have been cooperating with the U.S. presence of the USFK. So I think that if somebody says that the North Korean regime is threatened or provoked by that presence, then it might be the interpretation of North Korea who would like to vindicate its position to build up its military the capabilities, including nuclear and missile capabilities too.
Next question.
Oh, I was interested in the American diplomats' response to that too, if that's possible.
Sure. No, I think you're never going to have 100% of any population that's in agreement with a particular one policy or another. But I think that the evidence is there in both South Korea and Japan that there's overwhelming support for having our troops there. A lot of times the debate here in the United States is, wait a minute, they need to pay their share. And when you look at the burden sharing in terms of in both USFK and USFJ, being U.S. Forces Korea, U.S. Forces Japan, the amount of money and support that both of those countries are giving actually makes it cheaper for us to have those forces in both of those countries as opposed to having them stationed here in the United States. So that's something that comes up politically. It is a football here, but I can very soundly put that to rest in terms of both Korea and Japan paying their fair share. If you look at the support in Korea, I pointed to it was like an 80+ percentage favorable rating of the U.S. A lot of that is because of the troops that are there, and if you ask most Koreans, they're going to be like, heck no, we don't want them to go, especially given what provocations DPRK has been doing of late. But you're right, that has traditionally been part of the argument, but even the opposition in Korea is very supportive of the United States forces being there and what we're doing to help with in response to the DPRK threat.
Yeah, I got interested in that the young people in North Korea were like exposed to like movies or external information from out of North Korea. What is the route and the method they watch or listen to the music there?
Right now, we are like defectors inside South Korea. They kind of like big groups, so they made a USB. So inside USB, they put a lot of movie and then sending to the North Korea. And the North Korea, they have computers and programs for the copy for the CD. So they're hiding in somewhere, and then they copy the CD and start selling in the black market. That's why a lot of people can see the movie. So this is before, if you watch the South Korean movie or American movie, you will go to some prison camp for 10 years, for 20 years. But right now, there's too many people watching the movie, so they cannot control them too much. And then second reason is the watch the third country movies, all their parents are the powerful in North Korea. That's why they cannot touch their kids. So they just ask them the money and then let them go out. So that's why the reason, yeah.
Yes, I see a hand back there.
In your speech, you judged China for sending like the North Korean back to North Korea, and you praised President Trump for his anti-China speech. But how do you think about the speech made by Trump about the Great Wall he's about to build and the illegal immigrants he's about to send back to their country? How's that different from China?
你可以用中文再讲一遍吗？
你刚才说中国政府把那个北韩的难民送回朝鲜，那么同时你还称赞了Trump 总统他的反对中国的一些言论，那么你怎么看待Trump想要修建长城在美国和墨西哥的边境，同时还想把这些非法移民送回他们原来的国家的这些言论呢？
I'm sorry. I only live in North Korea, China, and America. So I don't know what is in Spanish border and the American border going on. So I don't know how to answer that questions. But when I was say that in North Korea, when they send the North Korean defector to the Korean government kill them, put them in the prison. On my body, everywhere is bite by bug and then infections. So I have a lot of that kind of things. So if the not North Korean the regime kill me, and then I will die for starvation and I die for infection. So we have many reasons die in North Korea. But I believe one of the friends is a Spanish guy. He was working with me, and I don't know who was reported to him. He sent back to his country, and 6 months later, he was come back and asked me to borrow the $300. So I was like, your country is very good. And he said, yeah, when I make enough money, I just go back by country, and then I come back a few days later. So I think this is different. And then I mentioned that Trump said, I don't remember whole things, but Trump said, if China do something not right, we can make tax higher, something like 그걸 무역을 뭐라 그러지? Trade? Yeah, in trade side, they say they can grab some money and then ask the China cannot do whatever they want. I just want to mention that one. Can Trump or the Korea use these kind of parts? Ask the China, please stop killing the North Korean defectors. I was mentioned that one.
Yes, please.
Yes, to Ms. Han. Your arts your presentation, especially your English, so impressive. Proud of your English, even. Yeah. It's so touching. My question is, what is your identity? Are you an artist, or a philosopher, or a humanitarian? What is your identity? And second is, how can the artist contribute the human rights or world like you?
What was the first question?
Philosopher, artist, or humanitarian?
I like when I think artist term is the term called by people, not myself. I mean, I can say one day I didn't really know what I'm doing is art or not. I'm just challenging and experiment with what I can do and what I want to do. So, I mean, what is art and what is a philosophy? I don't know. I don't know the definition. It's all made by different people differently. I think philosophy is a like questioning. You know, philosopher is a person who questions, and upgrade is a finding the difference and. So I don't know who I am and what I am, but I think art is not defined. I mean, I think artists are philosophers. Making something with their, talent or their skills or method. I don't know. Everybody can be artists, right? So it's, I don't want to say long, but I'm sorry.
For you to be here. Your art was very interesting. I wish we could see some in person here someday, maybe in California. The thing that really struck me is this relationship with Morris Louis and abstract expressionism, and that has a certain weight and image in America. Really what I want to know, what do you think of abstract expressionism, and what does it mean? It seems to me your biggest audience perhaps is other South Koreans. And how are they responding to either traditional abstract expressionism and your variation on it?
You mean with the Morris Louis?
Yes, with this series where partly you're having this dialogue with the North, but partly you're having this dialogue with something that's very American. And so if you could talk about that, and how is it seen in South Korea, this art of yours that derives from Morris Louis?
Maybe can I say something else?
Okay.
I'm very. Then maybe we can say something, about it later. What I'm very interested in for the future project is let them draw imaginative paintings or abstract, paintings. I used the Morris Lewis's. I brought the Morris Lewis's into North Korea, but I was thinking about abstract. What's abstract? Why, I become more and more interested in abstract instead of, realism or there are many. If someone who wants to talk a lot but should be secret, should be very abstract too. And I want to ask North Korean artists to using their imagination and draw these imaginative paintings, and also using geometric forms, like round, rectangular, dots, lines. These are all very fundamental for in arts, which is really ancient origins, right? But it's prohibited there. So where abstract can be possible and where not? And I was questioning about the birth of abstract, and also and then I want to ask them to this kind of imaginative paintings and using these abstract fundamental forms, which is prohibited there, and brought it and manifested. And maybe I want to make a public art forms, like a sculpture, public sculpture, something in the center and install in the center of the soul. And this is this motif is from the North Korean imaginations, using different languages, which is really new to them, I think. I don't know if they thought new later. And maybe I know this is a little different answer from you, but and Morris Lewis's, I really liked Morris Lewis's, and at the superficial level, I felt this is like a pictorial landscape of our situation, as I told you. The identical twins, and I thought this is like a liquid or some tears or blood, something fluid, something really circulated in your body, which makes you alive, and this is flowing down, this kind of interpretation. But also, I was really interested in the, art can be defined in some regions. Morris Lewis is very American representative, color field, painter, but when I used this, I thought this is really, not only educational level, but I want them to feel something from unknown, something new, and I don't even know if they consider as art forms, and they may be familiar to colors, but 뭐였죠? 질문이 뭐였죠? 제가 머릿수를 싸고?
I think this is a wonderful conversation and it deserves to
sorry,
go on. And
slow.
there are more conversations and questions. Let's thank our speakers now and please come up and talk to them individually.
This was a wonderful, wonderful, informative evening. We've learned so much, and we are so grateful. So thank you everyone. Yeah.